Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a fun one. This is going to be our 2 looks 1 palette using the Colourpop So Fly palette. Now I've done a first impressions on this already. I did order the Colourpop mystery box around Black Friday and I got this palette in it. So this is not something I picked out myself and I probably wouldn't have bought it myself. But it is quite pretty. It's kind of like dragonfly butterfly kind of inspired, quite pretty. It is essentially a neutral with a pop of teal, but I was always just a bit interested in it. I don't know why. It's not my favorite palette in the whole world. I'd mentioned all this in my first impressions, but I do think it's quite nice and I'm liking the looks I'm getting out so far. So yeah, I'm excited to get into the looks using this palette. So I do feel like with this palette as well, like you have the option to go a little bit colourful, but there's only so far you're going to be able to go with this palette for colour, so I pull in other things for that. But if you just want a quick, easy pop of colour kind of thing, this is going to be the kind of palette for you. That's what I try to do with these kind of looks, is try to get as many versatile looks using multiple colours out of it, and I'm excited to see how grungy I can go in my second look as well, even though this is a little bit grungy, but like the next one's going to be even more grungy. So just before we get into the actual looks, my Instagram is linked down below. We'll be posting all my up close pictures of my looks, and don't forget to subscribe down below to see many more palettes coming up. We've got so many things coming up and I'm very excited for all the palettes that are coming up soon. Okay, let's stop rambling, let's stop talking, and let's get into doing look number 1. Okay guys, so let's get into look number 1 using the So Fly palette, and I definitely have to use this gorgeous teal down here. So I'm thinking using these two because I'm kind of obsessed with this color right now. Using these two and like the cool tone browns, because I love the option of having the cool tone browns or the warmer tone brown. But we're going to use cool tone browns. I'm thinking a half cut crease kind of job. I think that's what we're going to go for. I've already got my skin on, my brows on, my eyeshadow primer on, and I've got my cream blusher on, not blusher, bronzer on, which is all listed down below, but I'll tell you what my bronzer is at the end. So let's just get in. I'm going to take a Cash Beauty K07 brush, which is like one of those pinched fluffy brushes. And then I'm going to start with Damselfly. That took me like a second to figure out what that name was actually called, but Damselfly is the name of it, the dark cool tone brown. And I'm picking that up on one side of the brush there, and then we're just gonna start building this. Ooh, that's quite nice, quite dark. Through the crease, just on the outer corner first, because I want out here to be nice and dark, and then just start running it through the actual crease. I want to bring it far in because, as always, when I'm doing my cut creases in here, I like enough darkness on the inner crease, so when I do cut the crease, it gives loads of definition. Then you can really see the difference from where I cut the crease, because if it's too light or there's just not enough depth there when you cut the crease, it doesn't make as much difference. Okay, so I have that shade on and I think it looks really good. I think actually that would blend it really easy, even though it's quite a dark shade. It's probably not as dark as it looks in the pan though. You probably would be able to build up to that point, but I have built up a good bit, so maybe not, maybe it's just not as dark. But it does go dark enough for what I want it for. So I'm going to take the same shade again, taking a Cash Beauty K10 brush. I'm using a lot of Cash Beauty eye brushes in this look. And that is just going to be run along the lower lash. Going to go about halfway across with this colour. Always connecting to the outer corner as well. Okay, so got my shape down, got my dark shade down. So now we're going to blend it all out. I'm going to take a Dragon Tail, which is this light, kind of a soft brown, leaning into a cool tone. It's like a great mid-tone brown for me because everything pulls warm on my skin. So this is like the perfect like regular brown for me, where on some people it might look a little bit cool toned. I'm taking this on a Cash Beauty K06 brush, which is the big fluffy brush from their set, and just blending, especially in here. Make sure that's all nice and soft. Oh yeah, I can tell this is blending very easy. Just blend all around the edges. Look at that blend. That was effortless. Colourpop eyeshadows are very easy to blend though, especially obviously with these being the same sort of tone helps as well, but I do really like the blendability of Colourpop's shadows. Even like their single shadows, I have a good few of their single shadows and I do love them just for every day because I just find them real easy just to throw on and just blend with. Okay, so I'm just going to clean off my kind of pinched brush, the one that I use for the dark brown, to first apply it, just to get most of the dark off, and then I'm going to go back in with Dragon Tail just to blend out my lower lash line. But I'm using this pinch brush because it's a tiny bit flatter, I have a bit more control with it. But I'm just going to blend out the edge of this lower lash. If you lose any colour out like that, just add more of the darker shade. And I may add more of the dark shade once I do the blue shimmer on the lids. Just because it is neutral with blue, you kind of want to make sure that you're defined enough with it. When it's just light and then blue, it's, I don't know, for me it doesn't give me enough definition, so I always like to maybe reapply my dark shade once I've put my shimmer on. Okay, it's shimmer time and cut crease time. I am going to go with my, cannot believe I'm still using this because I thought I would have been finished this by Christmas, the NYX glitter primer. I have a brand new one that's there ages because I thought I was going to run out of this sooner, but it's still going. Like, I do have to squeeze the life out of it to get anything out, but there's still enough in it to get me through another while. So just make sure I'm picking up enough of this because I am going to cover my whole lid and do a cut crease with it. And you always want a tiny bit extra for the cut crease part. So I like to pat it on. This is another Cash Beauty brush. This is a K09, their flat brush. So just applying the glitter primer all over, get a nice even spread. And then a little bit of pressure into the crease. So I like to go a tiny bit above my natural crease just to stop any transfer from happening. So it's still nice and defined, but the glitter primer will remove some of that product. And I literally just like rock back and forward. If I need to fix it or bring it up anymore, I will. But I just kind of rock back and forward until I'm happy. So I've got my cut crease done. It's not super obvious as if you would do it like the Peel bases or concealer or anything like that because it's just with glitter primer. But that's just, I prefer to do it that way. So I'm going to take the shade FYI, the Duochrome first. So I'm going to start with this one. And I'm picking up on the same brush. I just like wiped off a little bit of the excess glitter primer that was still on the brush, but it's still a little bit sticky, so it means I'm not going to get as much fallout. And that is going to go on the inner part of the eye. It's got the most gorgeous green flash. And I kind of run that just along the cut of the cut crease like that, if you can see that there. It is more of a topper shade, so you might have to layer up a little bit. And then just fill it in just the inner third of the eye. Because it's got like kind of a neutral base. You don't really see the shimmer once it hits the light, but it's so beautiful. So now I'm going to take that same brush, but just flip it over. And we're going to take Wing Tip, which is the shimmery metallic teal. This doesn't really have like a duochrome or anything fancy like that. It's just like your true metallic sort of formness. That's why glitter primer is good with these kind of ones. So it gives you that real foiled effect. Oh, it comes out more green than I thought it was going to. It's almost like jewel tone. It's very pretty, very smoky. I am going to take a small bit of this and press it on with my finger, just to make sure that right on the high point of that lid, it's super intense. And I just almost like overlapped it with the topper shade on the inside, but I'm going to take a little bit more of that topper shade and then overlap it backwards onto the teal. That'll give us a really nice soft gradient. Okay, so for the little gap I left down here, I'm going to take a little bit more of the glitter primer, just a tiny bit, and I'm just going to take on my baby finger, just like teeniest little dab. I'm just going to pop a little bit down here. I just find with Colourpop shimmers, they just stick better with glitter primer. So I'll always put a tiny bit down wherever I'm going to apply them. In my first impressions, I didn't use a glitter primer, actually, to be fair, with that topper shade. But I did use it over a liner, which already had a bit of a stickier kind of base. So that's why I didn't use it there. And I'm going to take that same flat brush, because I have it wiped off with the teal. I'm just using it for the shade FYI, the topper in the middle. And I'm going to pop that on this part in here, just to give us a little bit of shimmer down here. I don't always put shimmer down here. I used to always put shimmer down there. I don't always anymore, but I kind of feel like it right now. And I feel like this is a great colour because it just gives us that real nice flash of colour to match the top. Okay, I just want to take a little bit more of Damselfly, the dark brown. Just taking a dab of that on the same brush that I used for earlier on. And then just dab that where it meets that teal shade, just to give us a nice blend. Because brown does have a tiny bit of like a warmth in it, like an orangey kind of colour to it. Even if it's cool tone, brown still has a little bit in it. Has to for it to be brown. And orange and blue don't really mix well together. So I just want to really make sure that my blend is okay. But because this is more of like a teal with green, and then the brown, I think it works really well. I do. Okay, so last little step, I haven't tried this one yet. I'm going to use Flight Path, which is like the light shimmer in it, because I've already used this one. So I'm going to use this because I think this would be beautiful, and just see what this looks like on the inner corner. Now I don't use a glitter primer on the inner corner because my concealer kind of goes all the way up to there, so it's already a little bit of a tacky base. I don't bother with it in there because it'll also cake up because it's a bit of a thinner area to apply it to. But I think this colour will look stunning. Okay, that's our look. I am going to jump off. I am going to finish off the face. I don't know what else I'm going to do. I do have a nice liner that will go with this for the waterline. It's brand new, which I'll be popping into my Black Friday haul because everything finally arrived. But yeah, I'm going to jump off. I'm going to finish off the eyes, finish my cheeks, do a lip, and I'll come back and let you know what I use on the rest of my face. Alrighty guys, so this is how I finish off the look. I am quite happy with how it turned out. Would it be my favourite look in the whole world? Probably not, only because I feel like the teal, as I put more things on, got duller and duller. Like I feel like for what it is in the palette here, it's not like that on my eye. I don't know if I couldn't get a stickier base than a glitter primer. I'm not sure. Maybe spraying my brush, maybe putting a blue base down, but then I mean that's a lot of effort to go for one eyeshadow. But I really love how the look turned out in general, like an overall look. I think it's very pretty. So to finish off the eyes, I did my winged liner. Actually, I know, been a while. My NYX vinyl liquid liner is what I use. This is just the black, and I use that to do a nice little wing on my eye. Excuse this eye, I'm getting a bit of a leaky eye for some reason. This eye has been irritated the last couple of days, but sure, look, we have to move on and we have to film. For my waterline, this is one of my new things. I've actually got a couple of new things in this. I've got one, two, just these two. I have a couple of new things on my face, which is listed down below, but I have another new thing to show you in a second. This is the NYX Epic Wear Liner Stick in the shade Turquoise Storm, which I popped on the waterline. This is kind of the colour, how vibrant it is on my waterline, what I wanted the shimmer to look like on the lid. But I don't know, it still goes. My mascara then is my Urban Decay Perversion mascara, and then my lashes are the Cash Beauty Crystal Night set, like the big set. These are After Dark, which are like really like wispy and like little sections. Really dramatic, and I think they really like add to the look as well. And then on to cheeks. My bronzer is the next new thing in my little collection. This is the Fenty Beauty Cheeks Out Freestyle Cream Bronzer in the shade 02 Butta Biscuit. So I have 01, which is amber, and it's cool toned. And when I first bought it, I loved it, and as I've kind of used it more, I'm like, is it a bit too grey for me? I still think I can get away with it. It just depends on what I wear with it. But this is, if I'm going for bronzer, this is the kind of tone I go for. So I got this, and I had points to use off my loyalty card in Boots, so I got it for free. On to blush then. I use my MAC Mineral Blush in the shade Like Me, Love Me, which is like a matte peachy, kind of more, it's more orangey tone in real life, but on camera it looks a bit more coral. But this is that, just to add a bit of warmth to the skin. And then for my highlight, I use my Kiko Metal Fusion Highlighting Drops in the shade Sweet Dreams, which is like the kind of golden champagne sort of shade, just to add a little bit extra highlight. My lip then, I'm determined to use this up, is my teeny weeny Whirl lip liner. Look at the size of this, but I'm still going. We're still going. So I use that to line my lips and fill them in, and then I went in with my MAC Retro Matte Liquid Lip Color. This is one of the metallic ones, in the shade Softly Rockin'. It's matte with a slight shimmer in it, but you can't really notice the shimmer in this one, so I popped a gloss on top. But Softly Rockin', it's like a very soft peach. It comes out more peach on me than it would on a lot of people, but it is quite pale. And then for my gloss, I used my Kiko Milano Super Gloss in the shade 112, which is kind of the same colour as the Softly Rockin', but in a slightly lighter and more sparkly gloss version. Alrighty guys, so that is all the products that I used on my face. This is the first look using the So Fly palette from Colourpop. I'm enjoying it. I'll say I'm enjoying it. I think I'd probably use it more as a neutral palette so far. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'm excited to get into the look I'm going to do with these three here. I'm very excited because I'm going to do probably a reverse smoky eye and some sort of a darker kind of lip. I think that'd be very fun, just to add a bit of drama to the palette as well. So yeah, let's see how we get into look number 2. Okay guys, so let's get into look number 2 using our So Fly palette. And I'm actually really excited about this look because I haven't done one of these in a little while. I'm going to do a reverse smoky eye, so where like the darkness is all on the inner corner. I faded out to blend into nothing almost. And I'm going to use these two here, which I haven't used. I haven't used this one or this one. I haven't used either of these two, and this shade up here. So yeah, we're just going to get into like a neutral but in a grungy way, and then I might do like a lip to matte or like a darker lip or something like that. My skin is on, my cream contour is on, my brows are on. I'm going to prime together because I want to show you that there's a reason I want to use this, and it's all listed down below, but I will show you what my contour is towards the end. But yeah, we're going to get straight in. I'm going to prime with you guys. I'm going to use my MAC Painterly Paint Pot because it has a bit of coverage to it. I want this to kind of blank out my eyes because I don't really plan on doing a lot of colour on the outer part of my eye, so I want something that's going to you know, still even me out without me having to actually put anything there. So just popping it on my finger, but you can see there, just kind of like a concealer, but this actually stays on because it's a cream shadow. I'm going to take a small little bit as well and just run it along my lower lash because I'm going to be applying colour down here, but I also still want to cover up any bits of redness around my eye. So I'm going to take the shade Speedy, which is this kind of soft, light skin tone, but with peach in it. It's also a sequin shade, which is a matte shadow with sparkles in it, as opposed to like a metallic or anything like that, which I don't always love, but in this case I don't mind, because this kind of colour I'm just going to blend around, and the sparkles might stick, they might not, but I don't really mind. So I'm going to take that on an Inglot 6SS, which is just like a big fluffy brush, picking up a little bit of this shade here, and we're going to start working that on the inner corner basically, so all in here. And as I said, the sparkles may stick, but they may not. Just make sure this is really soft, and I am bringing it through the crease as if I was like the way you would out here, deepen out here and then bring it through the crease. Doing the same in here, I'm deepening in here and bringing it this way through the crease, because I still want a bit of definition in my crease, because my eyes are more rounded. I like to define my crease, so I like to always have that, like something in there when I'm doing these kind of looks. Yeah, you'll just get like a really soft twinkly kind of effect from that. I am also blending it up high in here just to give a bit more drama, why not? Okay, so now we're going to take the shade Depart, which is kind of like a warmer brown compared to this one's a really dark, cooler tone brown. This is warmer. We're going to take that on a Cash Beauty K08 brush, so any small little fluffy brush. Just a small bit at a time. We want to have control over this, and this is going to go on my very inner corner, as if I was doing a inner corner highlight, which I will still be doing a highlight in there, don't worry, because I do always love a bit of shimmer on the inner corner, but I also want it to be a little bit darker in here. And I'm also pulling that up through the crease as well, just with whatever's left on the brush, and I'm just going little by little, just softly adding more colour. If you add too much, just go back in with your first shade and the fluffy brush and blend it out. Like especially in here, I always find it goes a bit harsh here, so I like to just take whatever's left on this brush and fluff it out. Yeah, the sparkle's actually quite like sticking quite well. Okay, so for the lower lash line in here, I'm also still popping colour in here. I'm going to take the shade Depart again, just that dark brown, and I'm taking this on a BH Cosmetics Rose Gold number 8 brush, which is like a flat but like dense brush, just to have a tiny bit more control over it. And I'm just going to line this, connecting it to the inner corner so it wraps right around about a third of the way out, because I'm going to blend this out with the first shade again. So it's a little bit messy, but don't worry, we're going to blend that out in a second. Okay, we're looking heavy, but we're going to blend. So I'm going to take the shade Speedy again on my big fluffy brush, and we're just going to go to town, blend this out. I like to have a bit more of an inner corner, like smokiness, if that makes sense. Like down here, I love this kind of effect, especially once I do my liner and like my mascara and everything like that, it really comes together. It's a work in progress for these kind of looks, so don't worry if it doesn't look great straight away. So just making sure that's all blended around the edges. If you struggle to cover your dark circles, this is perfect because it almost enhances them in a nice way. Okay, so last little step for this, we're going to take Skydive, which is kind of like the darker, lighter shimmer in the palette. This one is a bit more like silvery, but this has a bit more warmth and more of a champagne. I think that'll go nice with these peachy tones. So I'm going to pop that on the inner corner. And I don't want to brighten the inner corner like as bright as possible because it is darker in there and I want to keep that effect, but I do want to add a nice little bit of shimmer, just a small one, not nearly as much as I normally would. It's just to give me that element of shimmer in here, and I'm going to still blend it out probably with my darker shade as well. So just taking that small brush with the dark shade, but I'm not picking up any more of the darker shade, just taking that and just very lightly dust around that shimmer, just to still keep a bit of depth but also keep the shimmer going. This is very much a layering process. There's no like do this here, this here, this here. It's until you're happy with it, that's what we're going for. Okay, so I think I'm happy with this. I know I look mental, I look a little bit sick, but that's fine. I'm going to jump off, I'm going to do a bit of liner, a bit of lash. I might even stick some rhinestones on. I'm kind of feeling that today. We'll do cheeks, lips, and I'll come back and let you know what I use on the rest of my face. Okay guys, so this is how I finish off my look. I'm in love with this. I love when I add like random things like rhinestone things like that to my look. So let me go through everything really quickly what I used on my face. So to finish off the eyes, I went in with a little bit of liner just on my upper lash line, because I do like a liner when I do a reverse smoky eye like this, because I feel like it really defines the eye nicely. So I went in with my NYX Vinyl Liquid Liner, one of my favourites, and I just did a For me, a nice, like, average wing. Nothing too crazy for my eye shape. I can go bigger. I usually do go a little bit bigger sometimes, but an average kind of size. My mascara then is my Urban Decay Perversion Mascara, just on my top and loads on my bottom as well. And then my lashes, a pair I haven't worn in a long time. These are my Natalia lashes from House of Lashes. How many times did I say lashes? A lot. But yeah, they're really, really crisscrossy, really long, quite dramatic, but they give me that kind of like pixie sort of effect, which I feel like this palette gives that sort of vibe. For my bronzer slash contour, I used my Made by Mitchell blush in the shade Hello There, just to kind of contour up my face nice and softly. My blush then is my Catrice Light and Shadow Contouring Blush in the shade Rose Propose. Mostly, obviously, the darker shade, because this shade doesn't really do anything for me, but that lighter shade I love. The darker shade I love, that's what I meant to say. And then my highlight, I went in with my Colourpop Super Shock Cheek in the shade Flexitarian, which is gorgeous, beautiful, gives me that real wet sheen across the cheeks. And then onto lip, I kind of knew this was the lip I was going to go for. I kind of had this pre-picked already. This is the Black Moon Cosmetics liquid lipstick in the shade Gloom, which is just like that real 90s brown, a real 90s kind of look. That's why I put my hair up like this, because it's quite 90s. I like that kind of vibe right now. And yeah, jewelry, Claire's, pennies, Primark, whatever you want to call it. That's it. My earring, Claire's as well. Claire's for that one. That's it. Okay guys, so that is how I finished off my look. I love this. This is probably my favorite look I've done with this palette, because this is my kind of vibe. If I'm going to do neutrals, this is what I usually go for. This palette, I like it. I like it. I like it, like it. Do I love it? No, I don't. Because it is in neutral with a pop of blue. That's kind of all. I was still intrigued by it just because I wanted to see how many things I could get done with it. So I'm happy I used it. I'll see how far it gets in my collection, how many times I do use it, if I want to get rid of it eventually. But so far I'm liking it. I do quite like it. I'll probably use it again in the future. I'll probably do, I don't know, an Instagram video or something like that, whatever it is, using this palette. Let me know if you have it down below though, because I want to see what you think of this palette. But for some people this is probably a great palette because it's that like neutral with peaches and then the blue. Yeah, I like it. I do like it. So as I said, I want to know down below if you have this palette, what are your thoughts on this palette? Let me know, help me make a decision on whether I love it. I don't love it, but I like it. Yeah, let me know that down below, and let me know which look was your favorite. This grungy neutral reverse smoky eye, or the kind of blue teal cut crease, or even the first impressions, the peach with that duochrome on top. Let me know what your pick is down below. If you did like this video, give me a big thumbs up down below. It's the quickest, simplest and easiest way to give me a little bit of support, get me around to more people, and also let me know that you liked the video, and I will continue to do many more. Also, don't forget to subscribe down below to see many more videos coming up. We've got lots of palettes to play with. We have also got the finishing off of my collection videos, so showing like what's in my collection, and then once I finish that, I've already started filming it, it comes to declutter, and I'm so excited for that. I started with my lipsticks, so lipsticks will be coming first, and I'm very happy with my lipstick drawer now. I'm really happy about it. I'm really happy with the decisions that I made, and I can't wait to jump into my lip gloss drawer because that needs an overhaul. And as I said in the beginning, my Instagram is linked down below where I am catching up on all of my posts. I have a list made out and I know what I'm catching up on. I posted one today, which I'm very happy with. So go follow that down below, and my TikTok down below, which I'm also catching up on as well. So you can see a little bit more content from me. And I think that's everything. Am I missing anything? I don't think so. So I will see you in the next video. Bye.